Alright, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Coaster Brothers. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the full recap of summer 2023, and this was by far the best summer I've ever had in regards to theme parks, riding new coasters, and experiencing new parks. This was just such a fun summer. I started out the summer with 288 credits, and now I have 382 credits. If you ask me, that's a pretty big jump for 3 months. And I know there's some crazy enthusiasts that do way more than this, but for me, I've never done this much in a single summer. So I am honestly shocked by how much I did. I was not expecting to do this much in a single summer, but it happened. It was super fun. Like, I cannot express that enough. You've seen all the content. There's so much more content coming soon to the channel that I have not uploaded yet from all of our trips. That's how many trips we've done that I've not even uploaded all of the content from the trips, and it's already the end of the summer. So that's a lot. And I hope you guys enjoyed all the content that came from this summer and all the content that is still coming soon from this summer. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a full recap of summer 2023. So let's get into it. So the first trip of the summer was the first weekend of June. This was June 2nd and June 3rd. This trip was to Holiday World for their annual event of Hollywood Nights. This is a coaster enthusiast event that has behind-the-scenes tours, exclusive ride time, and much more. This is an event solely dedicated to the coaster enthusiast community, and I saw so many coaster enthusiasts at this event. I got to meet a lot of new people, hang out with a lot of close friends. It was great. I loved this trip. So this was a great kickoff to the summer. It was so much fun. I loved the whole experience at Holiday World for Hollywood Nights. I loved walking the Voyages maintenance road. I loved riding Voyage Trimless. It was just so great. And this was just the perfect start to my best summer for theme parks yet. Like, I literally was at theme parks for over 30 days in the summer. That's literally a whole quarter of the summer that I was at theme parks. It was so awesome. I never expected to do this much in a single summer. Like, going to Holiday World at Hollywood Nights, at that time, I did not realize that the summer would turn out the way it did. I did a lot more trips than I thought I would. A lot of unplanned trips occurred. I got so many new credits. It was insane. But for Holiday World, Hollywood Nights, the 2 days for that event, a great start to the summer. Next up, on June 10th, I revisited Six Flags New England, which is my home park because I live in Massachusetts. Now, I visited Six Flags New England a lot of times in the summer, but this was definitely, I'm just going to highlight this here, this was definitely the best visit of the summer. Absolutely no complications. All the rides were open. Everything had multiple trains running at the same time, and it was a pretty dead day overall, and we got to do on-ride filming at the park, which was a first for me at Six Flags New England. Got a great amount of POVs coming to the channel. A lot of them have already released, but like I said earlier, there's a lot of POVs and content that I have not released yet from the summer because I just got so much content that is going to release all throughout the fall. I'm just going to dump it all out over the fall, but definitely, this was the best visit to Six Flags New England so far for this year. I just really enjoyed this visit. It was super hot out, meaning everything was running super fast, running super great. Dead day at the park, so no lines, walk-ons. It was just such a great visit. I can't express this enough. Like, I've not had this good of a visit at Six Flags New England ever. So that's what we did on June 10th, and this is right before we left for a massive trip. The first real major trip of the summer. Now we have our first major trip of the summer, and this trip began on June 13th, so just a couple of days after we visited Six Flags New England. From June 13th to June 23rd, we visited Hershey Park, Dorney Park, Knoebels, Dollywood, and Carowinds. So it began at Hershey Park, and Hershey Park is one of my favorite amusement parks. It always has been. They have a fantastic selection of coasters, especially with the new addition of Wildcats Revenge, which is the main reason we returned to Hershey Park. Wildcats Revenge is a fantastic RMC hybrid coaster, a conversion of the old Wildcat coaster from last year. And I gotta admit, this is just one of my favorite coasters. It is short, but it really packs a punch. It just has great airtime, great pacing, and I was truly shocked by the intensity this coaster brought. Now, I wasn't expecting too much from this coaster because it seemed kind of mid, to be honest, but no, this is not a mid coaster. This is a real reason to come to Hershey Park. It is just such a good coaster. So this is the reason I returned to Hershey Park, but I also got to experience some of their other great rides, like Skyrush, Candemonium, Fahrenheit, and Storm Runner. Some of my personal favorites. This is just such a great park. I wish I lived closer to this park, but overall, Hershey Park, this return visit, I was there for like 2 days, 3 days even. This was just such a great park. And go watch the Hershey Park vlog if you haven't yet. Summer 2023 vlog. Go watch that because this was such a great experience and you should relive it with me by watching that vlog because it was great. So after this, we got on a flight from the Philadelphia airport to Tennessee. And the reason we were going there is for Dollywood. This was the start of CoasterCon 45, which is a coaster enthusiast event that lasted for 6 days. We had 4 days at Dollywood and 2 days at Carowinds. And the Dollywood segment of CoasterCon 45 was definitely the best part of CoasterCon 45. We will talk about Carowinds in a second, but let me just highlight some of the moments we had at Dollywood. So we had a lot of ERT sessions. I hit my 300th credit on Lightning Rod. Got to experience the all-new Big Bear Mountain, riding it 10 times at night while the fireworks and drone show was happening, so it was great. I love the on-ride audio that Big Bear Mountain has. Definitely some of my favorite rides I've gotten on any roller coaster, period. It's not the most intense coaster ever, but it was just great memories, great moments on Big Bear Mountain. I love it. I really miss Dollywood. Dollywood was such a great park. Now, there were some things that they could have improved on CoasterCon 45 because it kind of seemed unorganized. There were things that they weren't prepared for because a lot of people went to this event. And by a lot, I mean a lot. Like over 1,000 people went to CoasterCon 45. And this means the ERT sessions didn't really feel like ERT sessions. Like I waited 30 minutes for Lightning Rod during ERT. Now, the reason Big Bear Mountain didn't have a line during ERT was because the fireworks and drone show was happening. Everybody was watching the fireworks and the drone show, and nobody was riding Big Bear Mountain. And that really shocked me because I'd rather watch it from Big Bear Mountain, which is exactly what I got to do because there's not a ton of trees around Big Bear Mountain, which allowed us to have a great view of the fireworks and the drone show with our 10 rides on Big Bear Mountain. And I gotta say, Big Bear Mountain, great addition to Dollywood, great coaster. And just these 4 days at Dollywood were really great. We had some unique ERT sessions. There was a lot of rain, so I got to experience blazing fury in pitch black darkness. So that was very interesting. I'll just put it as interesting. But anyway, that was the Dollywood segment of this trip. It was really fun. I loved it. We didn't really meet up with a ton of enthusiasts, but that was okay because I had a great time and we saw a lot of enthusiasts. We saw the enthusiasts having a good time. It was just great overall. So next, we went to Carowinds on the 22nd and the 23rd. And this is when we all started to get kind of tired of this trip. And the main reason was the Carowinds segment was very boring. These 2 days here were very unstructured. There were a few behind the scenes tours early in the morning, and then ERT sessions early in the morning, and then it's just kind of the entire day free at Carowinds. And to be honest, other than Fury 325, Carowinds is kind of a dud. It's kind of mid. Honestly, there's not too many great coasters here other than Fury, so I'd estimate I got about 50 rides, no, more like 30 rides on Fury on this trip, because even without the ERT, it was dead, because it was very rainy on both of these days, so the park was absolutely dead. And honestly, I didn't really enjoy this segment too much. The first day at Carowinds was okay. The second day, I kind of just wanted to leave, because we were in the park for 12 hours, and we did a lot of arcade games. Like, me and Charlie were playing some arcade games and stuff, but anyways, yeah, this was just a dud part of the trip. So I enjoyed Hershey Park, Dorney Park, Knoebels, Dollywood. Carowinds was just kind of the end of the trip feeling, because we were all kind of tired, because it was a long trip, a lot of walking, and we had interesting ERT sessions in the all-new aeronautical landing. Each ride had like one ride operator there. Everything was going down, everything was unreliable. Overall, Carowinds, not that great of a part of this trip. Just 2 weeks later, our next trip begins. We start in the Midwest at Worlds of Fun in Missouri, right outside of Kansas City. This is a great small-scale Cedar Fair theme park. So this is one of the smaller Cedar Fair theme parks, so I got to check off another Cedar Fair theme park that I had not been to yet. So I really enjoyed this park. It has a few great coasters, and the main reason we visited Worlds of Fun was for the all-new Zambezi Zinger, which is a GCI Titan track wooden coaster. There's actually only one section on the coaster that has Titan track. I was not too impressed with this coaster. I actually thought that it was pretty rough. I did not enjoy Zambezi Zinger that much. Maybe I just had a bad ride on it, because I was only able to secure one ride on Zambezi Zinger, because we just had one day there, actually just one evening there. We were there for 3 hours, but we were able to get all the credits. We only rode everything like one time, but that was okay, because it was a good visit at Worlds of Fun. Next up, we spend the next 2 days after Worlds of Fun at one of my bucket list parks, a park that I had always wanted to visit, and that is Silver Dollar City. And I gotta say, this Hershend amusement park is fantastic. It has a great lineup of coasters, a great atmosphere, a lot to do. I just love the way they made this park. It's in Branson, Missouri, in the Ozark Mountains. So you're literally not near anything. It's all hills and mountains surrounding you. And I love it. I really love it. Just the theming they put in this park. They really made it feel like it's this Western themed park, like country themed park. I love it so much. This is definitely one of my favorite amusement parks. It was so good. And actually, I have a hard time deciding whether this or Dollywood is better, because those are both Hershend amusement parks, and I am having a hard time deciding which one is better, because Dollywood is great, it has a lot of great theming, a great atmosphere, but so is Silver Dollar City. I'm probably going to say Dollywood is better, but Silver Dollar City is very, very close to being better than Dollywood. I'd say they're neck and neck right now, but one of the main reasons we visited Silver Dollar City was for Time Traveler, which is their Mack Rides Extreme Spinning Coaster, the only one in the US, and it is insane. The drop on this, which happens right out of the station, is insane. If you're in the back row, in the backwards facing seat, the airtime off of that is crazy. This is one of the only drops that genuinely scares me. It really, not really scares me, but it freaks me out. It catches me off guard every single time, because I keep forgetting how insane that drop is. And just the whole ride is pure insanity. Like, I'm going to Europe next summer, so I'm just gonna put that out there right now for those of you that don't know. I'm going to Europe next summer, so I'm gonna be riding Ride to Happiness, another extreme spinner by Mack Rides, and I just love these rides. I've only been on one, but I already know I'm gonna love Ride to Happiness. And people who have ridden both have said that Ride to Happiness is better, so that's great. And I got to get like 10 rides on Time Traveler because the park was absolutely dead. There was no line on any rides at all. It was so awesome. Now, definitely the highlight at Silver Dollar City was the Cavern Tour. There's literally a cave 500 feet below Silver Dollar City, and we got to walk down there and just see this massive caverns. We got to walk in these like tight, narrow spaces in the cave. It was so cool. This was a 1-hour tour. If you haven't yet, go watch the Silver Dollar City vlog. You'll be able to see the entire cavern tour, our full experience at Silver Dollar City. So go watch that if you haven't yet. And yeah, this was definitely the highlight of Silver Dollar City. I will never forget this experience. One of the best days I've had at any amusement park. It was just so awesome. So next we went to Six Flags St. Louis, although I didn't take any footage there. So I'm just going to briefly explain what we did there while showing you some of this cavern tour footage at Silver Dollar City. So Six Flags St. Louis was a disappointing park. I did not like the park at all. Mr. Freeze was good. That's a good ride. And the boss was also pretty good. But other than that, very bad atmosphere and a very bad park. So next, we got on a flight in St. Louis and flew to Virginia for Busch Gardens Williamsburg and King's Dominion. Starting out at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, this is currently my favorite SeaWorld park. My favorite Busch Gardens park out of Busch Gardens Tampa and Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is definitely the best. It has a great lineup of coasters ranging from Pantheon, Apollo's Chariot, and Griffin. And whenever I'm at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I just have such a fun time. It is such a great park. I love the atmosphere. It's just so great. I love Pantheon. I love Apollo's Chariot, Griffin. All the coasters at this park are super great other than the kiddie coaster. And that's another thing to point out. The lineup at this park, there's like no one and dones besides the kiddie coaster. And some may say Loch Ness Monster is a one and done, but I disagree. I think it's a great aerodynamics looping coaster. But anyway, we spent 2 days at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Then, for a few hours, we made a return visit to King's Dominion, where we re-rode Intimidator 305. Charlie got his first ride on Intimidator 305 as his 200th credit. I love King's Dominion. I definitely need to get back here soon. Might go back, actually, this fall, so stay tuned. Then, the day after this, we went to Six Flags America. And this was kind of disappointing, honestly. We got to film on-ride footage on Superman Ride of Steel. But other than that, this was kind of a dud of a park. Had a bad atmosphere. I just was not a fan of this park. Superman is kind of mid, honestly. And just overall, Six Flags America, I'm probably not going to go back to this park anytime soon. Maybe ever. Unless they get a really good addition to the park, then it would be worth going back. But until that happens, which it probably won't ever, honestly, I'm not going to be returning to Six Flags America. And that's the conclusion of our 9-day Midwest/East Coast trip. Super fun. For the rest of the month, we didn't do a ton of more traveling. We did go to Six Flags Great America just a few weeks after this, although I didn't take any footage from there. But I will say Six Flags Great America is one of the best Six Flags parks, if not the best. Love the lineup there. Anyways, now, let's skip to August. Our next trip begins the first week of August, where we begin at the Jersey Shore, checking out all their boardwalk theme parks, at least all the major ones. One of the highlight ones was Maury's Piers. This is definitely my favorite boardwalk park, by far. I haven't been to many, but this park was fantastic. I got to ride their amazing Vekoma SLC, and yes, I just called a Vekoma SLC amazing. This is the Great Nor'easter, and this is fantastic. It has the vest restraints, super smooth, super intense. I love it. We also checked out Casino Pier and Playland's Castaway Cove, where I got to ride Gale Force. So the Jersey Shore segment, which lasted for 2 days, was great. But the real reason we came to New Jersey was for Thrillathon, another coaster enthusiast event located at Six Flags Great Adventure. I went to last year's Thrillathon and it was great. This year was kind of a downgrade, but I still enjoyed it. We had ERT in the morning on El Toro. It was great. I got like 20 rides on El Toro in the morning. It is running better than ever. Super smooth, super intense. The airtime is crazy. A full El Toro review is coming out soon in the next few weeks, so stay tuned if you want to hear my full thoughts on El Toro. And the Thrillathon vlog is already out, so go check that out. And anyways, Thrillathon was a great event, just like CoasterCon and just like Hollywood Nights. So much fun. Also, at night, we got to get a lot of El Toro rides, and it wasn't even ERT. It was just a walk-on. So it was basically like a secondary ERT session on El Toro. Also got to hang out with some great close friends that I hadn't seen in a while, other thuzies. It was great. I can't express this enough. Thrillathon was fantastic. Anyways, after Thrillathon, we then made a return trip to Hershey Park for one day, where we got to ride Wildcats Revenge again. Wildcats Revenge running great, even better than back in June. It was so much fun. And that basically sums up our visit to the Jersey Shore parks, attending Thrillathon and returning to Hershey Park. But we still had one more trip that we needed to do to end off the summer, and this was a return to Cedar Point, America's rock and roller coaster, my current favorite amusement park. I love Cedar Point so much. We had 3 days at this park to experience all of their fantastic rides and coasters. And surprisingly, Cedar Point was dead. Like, Steel Vengeance was a walk-on. I got to stay on Steel Vengeance 5 times in a row in the back row. It was rainy on one of the days, so that was the day that the park was completely empty. The other 2 days, it wasn't empty, but it was also not crowded at the same time, just moderate crowds. But this rainy day was definitely the best day at Cedar Point because of the amount of rides I got on Steel Vengeance. And last year, I was really disappointed with my rides on Steel Vengeance, very underwhelmed. That changed on this visit to Cedar Point because it was flying through the layout while it was raining because the tracks were wet. And as you know, Steel Vengeance flies through the layout if it's raining because the tracks are wet, so it will make the train go faster, which I absolutely love. We also got to ride Mavic, Millennium Force, Gatekeeper, all those great coasters at Cedar Point. Anyways, after this, we then drove down to Cincinnati to go to Kings Island in Mason, Ohio, which is right outside of Cincinnati, so basically Cincinnati. Kings Island is another Cedar Fair park that I really love and I really had to get back to. We had one full day at this park, so we needed to race around getting all the credits because even though I've been here, Charlie had not been here at this time. So we needed to race around the park, get all the credits, because he is a thuzy, so he needs to get all the credits, you know, to get his credit count up. And he's getting pretty close to 300 credits, which is really impressive because he was at 200 credits the trip before this, and now he's almost at 300 credits. So it's pretty insane the amount of milestones he's made in the last year after becoming a thuzy last October. But anyways, we got to experience Kings Island's amazing coasters like Orion, Diamondback, Mystic Timbers, and of course, the Beast at night. And the night rides on the Beast, we only got one, but the night ride on the Beast in the front row that we got was insane. It put the Beast back in my top 25. If I could get a night ride on that in the front row every time, that would just be crazy. Because in the front row at night, the Beast is insane. So this was definitely a great day at Kings Island. There were no hiccups at all whatsoever. So after Kings Island, we visited one final park to end off the summer. This is a small park, and this was basically the completion of visiting all the major Hershey theme parks. We went to Kentucky Kingdom before the park opened to film POVs at the park. So just a big thanks to Kentucky Kingdom for making this happen, for having us come before the park opened so we could get Zen Ride POVs. This was a first for us. We filmed a lot of POVs before, as you've seen on the channel, but this time we actually got to go before the park opened outside of public operating hours to film on the rides. I was very surprised with this park. I wasn't expecting much, but this is a very underrated theme park. It's very small, but it has a great lineup of coasters, has a Chance Rides Hyper GTX, which has great airtime, great pacing. Then you've got Storm Chaser, an RMC hybrid coaster. Just overall, a great lineup of rides at Kentucky Kingdom. So I definitely recommend checking out this park if you get the chance. Anyways, that was summer 2023. Thank you guys for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Like this video and subscribe to the channel if you love roller coaster content, just love riding roller coasters. You know, just subscribe, because it would be very appreciated, much appreciated, if you could do that for us. This was such a memorable summer. I'm never going to forget this summer, all the opportunities we had, all the trips we got to do. And let me know down in the comments, how was your summer? What was your favorite part of the summer? What theme parks did you visit? What were your favorite memories? Definitely let me know down in the comments. And as always, guys, stay on the thrill side of life.